Got it. Do it.
Lord, I've had a good life, and I think I lived it right. Bet there's a big old orgy waiting for me in the sky. I'm sure behind them pearly gates there's booze and weed and pills. But if there ain't sluts in heaven, Lord, send me down to hell.
Well, welcome back, boys and girls.
Vince
had fucking Vince, dude.
Worst show ever.
Worst show ever.
And yet here you are, Vince. Here you are.
I know. What does that say about him?
Right.
What does that say about him?
He could be out paddling asses and writing books and doing D&D and riding his motorcycle, and yet here he is.
Yeah.
Just saying, Vince. Just
saying.
He's still a homo. You know,
piece of shit.
I love you. I love you, homo. Oh. Why's my shit not working? There it is.
There it is.
Oh, it's delayed.
We got nobody in the chat right now.
Just Vince.
Have you ever noticed whatever Bull Rush hosts the show, it's like you're at that 3:00 comedy show at the strip club in Vegas, 3:00 in the morning, and it's like, there's a couple people in the audience and they may not be awake.
Well, that's the thing though. It's like, yeah, we may not well, I haven't hosted in a few weeks, so
you've been busy.
Why post a show card and a link before a half an hour before you go on? Why hype it up for a couple of days first? That just gets more people there. I mean, why would you want that?
That's more work for me. I got better shit to do.
No, you got a point there. Put that much work for this bullshit. I
mean, it's just YouTube. Way. Like, who gives a fuck?
It's a waste of time either way. No matter what you do, it's a sinkhole.
Oh,
yeah, you got like fucking. You got Vince that comes in. I don't even need to send shit out. They just show up.
I mean, but at least now, Rob's making money off of it. So Rob's at least got some motivation.
True.
Not this week. Not this week.
No, that's why I'm gonna play all the copyrighted shit, because I can do it on your show because you're not monetized. So who fucking cares?
I don't give a shit.
See, I thought giving up my rotation was gonna help things, but I don't know if it's worked out that way.
Well, I could always just take over the flagship, and there you have it.
We might have to talk about that after the show. That sounds like a good idea.
Hey, just saying.
Y'all do whatever you want. You can either send me the link or not. It's up to you.
Then there's the real Nick August. The part that he's professional. I'm going to show you the real me. There it is. Hey, you can do what the fuck you want, just as long as somebody sends me the link.
Or not.
Or not.
Well,
hey,
I mean, I do have a confessional. You cue me whenever you want the confessional, because I did promise one. So.
Hey,
we'll let them wait. We'll let them stew a little bit. We'll let the motherfuckers stew a little bit.
Stew. All right, whatever.
Like anybody, like they care.
Like Nick cares.
Right, so I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to go ahead and do it now and get it out of the way so I can get drunk.
Yeah, let's get it.
All right, go ahead.
All right. So the truth is that I've never been married. I have no kids. I never worked in tech. I've been a Waffle House manager for most of my life. I know nothing about crypto. That's not even me playing the guitar on my music channel. That's AI. That's a bot and a hologram.
I knew it.
Let me think. What else?
You're not dating some chick called Little Spurg. That's for sure.
I had one girlfriend when I was like 19. I haven't had a girlfriend since then. I didn't fuck her, so I'm still a virgin.
55-year-old virgin.
I don't even like bourbon.
You're a water
White Claw
only
man, huh?
I don't even like alcohol. I just like sparkling water.
He's a Topo Chico bitch.
Eating too many waffles. What the
Valerie? Fuck? No, his name's not even Nick.
My name's not even Nick.
It's all been a lie.
I don't even live in the South.
He lives over in the suburbs of Massachusetts, actually.
No, I've lived in a high rise in New York City for 35, 40 years. So
35, 40 years. God damn. Wow. Talk about as milk toast of a show as we could get.
There you have it. That's what happens. That's what happens when Bull doesn't do his job, and I just have to throw him some sort of shitty bone so he at least has something to put on the title card.
That's a worse dude. That's like a worse reveal than fucking Geraldo Rivera and King Tut.
Dude, that was worse than hearing that Jerry Springer died.
Yeah, no shit. I was actually affected by that, dude. I used to watch that shit when I was a kid.
So did I. I watched it too. In the beginning years, it was pretty cool, and then it got kind of crazy, But when I saw that this morning, I was like, oh, damn. An American icon dead at 79. But he lived a long life. Hey, that reminds me. Since we were back.
Hey, Vince, you misspelled bitch. It's not FF. It's
wow.
TCH.
God damn. Is that a reference to Biff from Back to the Future or Biff from Death of a Salesman? Well, there's also Biff Loman in Death of a Salesman. So.
Dude, you're talking about the crayon eater. Go figure.
Yeah.
So even
I think it's Biff from Back to the Future. Like old Biff, not young Biff. The old fucker.
Well, first of all, I was not a bully in high school, and second of all, I think Biff in the Future actually did pretty well for himself, didn't he?
Make like a tree and get out of here.
It's Biff from Phineas and Ferb. No, he doesn't get that reference, Zach.
Yeah, I don't even know what that is.
I know that reference.
Dude, I don't even get that reference.
That's because you're retarded.
It's because y'all are fucking old.
No, it's because you ate way too many crayons. Make like a tree and go. There you go. I really thought it was make like a tree and get out of here, though.
It is.
That's what I thought.
Vince has it wrong.
Oh, so Vince
has early onset dementia. You have to forgive him.
Vince starts drinking at lunchtime every day. So by this time of the day, you're lucky you got, you can read what.
I mean, he's basically sundowning by this time. So, I'm surprised he's still awake.
Look at him trying to recover. Same shit. Yeah, don't dare, Vince. Don't dare,
faggot.
That's right. You spanked one ass.
He'll fucking turn that paddle on himself.
Wait,
start slapping himself in the face.
Else? I thought that was him smacking his own ass in the videos.
I thought he had like a, those fucking machines. I think
his ass, his face, they both look the same.
I'm sure he's got a spanking machine.
His ass, his face. It's hard to tell the difference between the two nowadays. He's so fucking old.
When his girls are out shopping for blueberries and whatever, he's out. He's at home. Bending over for his spanking machine.
Spanking that ass. Oh, shit. Oh.
He's yelling, harder, Vince, harder.
Harder, Vince. I mean, harder, Vince. Harder, Daddy.
I'd fuck me.
The Sibian spank machine. He just bends over the Lincoln chair, says, "Give it to me."
Oh shit! The official roast Vince hour. God damn. This is what happens when you're a regular, kids. We eat our own.
Well, this is what happens when you're a regular, but you only show up every 6 months because he hasn't been here in a while.
Yeah,
so
no
of
shit.
course we got to drag him.
True.
You know,
True.
got to be reinitiated back into the, back into the group.
Mr. P can get the girl of his dreams, then so can I. No more excuses.
Well, if she was born on the 11th, the 17th, or the 28th, then she's a quality woman.
The third.
The third.
Yeah, that's not a prime number. That's not a prime number, Rob. You don't get it.
The fuck it is. Go look up the table of goddamn astrology, you motherfucker. The third is a prime.
Vince, we never even thought about you until you showed up. That's how much stored animosity we've got for you for being a fair weather friend.
Stockpiled. We don't need to have this shit rehearsed. Hey guys, what are you doing in the green room? Well, we're writing stories about Vince in case he shows up tonight. No, this came all off the cuff.
Vince's narcissistic fantasy just exploded in his head.
Right. Hey, it's that, what do women want? Who cares?
Well, KZ, I mean, what do you expect? You know where you're at. Ageism and fetish.
He just had his nerdgasm.
Is the starting line.
Really? Yeah, KZ, don't come off precocious. Come on.
By the time this is over, there's going to be women in Dubai getting shit on or something. This isn't going to go anywhere good.
Speaking of not going anywhere good, dude, I gotta say, because Nick, it was you who said something in a private chat about you get to a certain age and you really don't give a fuck. And I'm paraphrasing you. Okay, I already know. But you get to a certain point, you start watching people dropping like flies, and you really get to the point you don't care. You're like, I don't care about red meat and politics and whamming and all that other bullshit. So for Vince, because Vince is the only one that hasn't been around for a minute. My dad has some form of leukemia. Okay. And I saw him on Tuesday. Yeah, Tuesday. I went after work. Hey, Dad, how you doing? Pretty good. So how's it going? How's the leukemia? Are you getting treatment? Yada, yada, blah, blah, blah. And he told me, the fucking insurance and this, that, the other, the shit that you run into, co-pays and all this other bullshit. But then he goes, all these years, I didn't think that was going to be the thing. And hang on, kids, because there's more to the story. Because he goes, my top three, because my dad is a morbid motherfucker. That's just how he is. And I know that's where I get it from, because I'm kind of the same way. But he's like, yeah, I didn't think, leukemia was on the bingo card. That's not his words. That's my translation. Because for him, the top three of ways to go, the most likely ways to go, was heart attack, stroke, and a car wreck. Those were his three. And I was like, it's kind of funny how that works out, doesn't it? And he's like, yeah, I didn't, I was like, you didn't think that, leukemia was going to be on the bingo card, did you? And he's like, no, I didn't see that one coming. I was like, yeah, kind of like Mom didn't see ovarian cancer being her fucking bingo card. But it's funny. Here's the funny part, kids. Because when he said to the doctor, well, I guess I know what I'm dying from, when he got diagnosed. That's what he said. That's my dad. He's like, well, shit. I guess I know what I'm dying from. And the doctor went, well, hang on there, Bob, because that's his name. He's like, Hang on there, Bob.
Wait, Bob and Rob?
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah. That dude, I was Bob when I was younger. Okay. I was Bob Jr. Okay. This is Bob Sr. But I decided to, do an about face and go with Rob. I've been Rob longer than I was Bob, but yes, I answer to that too. So, but the doctor goes, well, hang on there, Bob. Who said anything about you're going to die from fucking leukemia? Okay. This particular leukemia, you're probably going to live another 20 years, which makes my dad 93 at that point, if he lives that long. But it's
that's 100% right, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's funny, when he's like, well, I guess I know what I'm dying from. And the doctor's like, well, hang on there, bucko. And it got me thinking because, we're sitting there, doing the laugh at death, death is coming for us all, but not today. We're doing that shit in his living room. And I'm like, I got to rethink mine because my top 3 was always, car accident, motorcycle accident. Those are, interchangeable. They're one. And then I thought cancer is number 2 because, hey, mom had cancer. Dad's got a type of cancer. Well, shit. What does that mean for me? Probably, yep. And then number 3 for me was I'm going to probably get murdered by a dude. Whether it be some woman's husband or boyfriend, and whether she was honest or she wasn't honest, whatever, some dude's going to show up at my door and it's not going to be a good thing. But here we are because I'm not a god. I'm not hard to kill, all that shit. So I thought, wow, that's what I told my old man. I was like, because when I asked him, well, what's your top 3? And he said, heart attack, stroke, and lung cancer, because he smokes and he's smoked for years. Instead, well, we got leukemia showing up in the bingo card. And I was like, you didn't see that one coming, did you? And he's like, God, no. And I was like, isn't that how it goes? Mom didn't see ovarian cancer coming. She saw some other shit. But it made
go
ahead.
Let me cut in real fast here. I'm with Zach Moore on this. Have you considered 3rd-degree burns now? Since
dude,
your new hobby?
You haven't even heard of fire pneumonia.
Yes, I've heard of it.
No, then okay, bull. All right.
It's well, they call it sclerosing pneumonia.
What is fire pneumonia? What is it?
Fire pneumonia is whenever basically you inhale heat and it scars your lung tissue. And you set up an infection because of it.
Okay. Oh, look at this motherfucker here. Look at the big brain on bull.
It's called sclerosing pneumonia. Yeah. Clinically, it's called sclerosing pneumonia. Yeah. But yeah.
And the way it was told to me right before I decided to go and watch that shit light up, my instructor he didn't give me that technical definition. That's why I'm glad, I wanted to out you there, but apparently Bull knows his shit because he called it fire pneumonia. And right before I went out and started blowing, he said, hey, there's a few things you need to know. And I said, okay, what's that? He goes, well, 1, you can get fire pneumonia. And I was like, oh, what's that? He's like, that's when you basically inhale the fire. And 1 worst case, it'll kill you. It's fatal. 2, if it doesn't kill you, whatever damage it does to your lungs, your esophagus, all that shit, it's permanent. There's no fixing it. So, whatever's after it's done, whatever's left over, that's the rest of your life. And I'm like,
I will say this though, Rob. In the 10 years or so that I've coded medical cases, I've only coded sclerosing pneumonia twice, ever. Out of all the thousands of cases I've coded. I've done sclerosing pneumonia, and both were because they were burn victims. They were in a house that was burning down.
Well,
and in the heat and stuff,
Right. And I get it, which is where I look at that and go, yeah, it's a possibility, but it's not a probability. That's why I play with fire. Because, yeah, it's a possibility. Oh, yep, you could get fire pneumonia. You could get 3rd-degree burns over 89% of your body. All the bullshit. Okay. But the likelihood, and you just kind of confirmed it for me, is very low. Considering the video that I have showed to you assholes on Twitter, I had the fire come right back at me.
Dude, I saw that. I was like, holy shit.
It singed my beard and everything. And you don't hear it, but the instructor who had a wet towel ready to go, he saw it and he goes, stop. And I just shut my mouth and pulled my head back. And yeah, I got singed. The beard got trimmed on its own. Okay. I could smell it. I was like, "Wow, that was close."
So you're not going to need my straight razor anymore? Is that what you're saying?
No. I'll still need that because I got to get the neckline. Got to get.
Okay.
Got to get there and a little bit over here. In this area.
You know what I'm hoping for? What I'm hoping for is that Rob does catch on fire, but he stops, drops, and rolls. They put it out quick, whatever it is they do, and so he's got like a couple of, he's got half of his beard singed off, and he's got like very minor 1-degree burns.
I already had 1 degree. I already had the sunburn.
Unlike
that's already happened.
Unlike, maybe 2% of his body. And that way we can look at the video and laugh, because you got to figure that's going to be some funny shit.
Yeah, well, yeah, it's going to be funny because like I was kind of hoping he would get like the Freddy Krueger 2nd-degree burn look, so I can make him like a glove at a straight razors, so he can go to Comic Cons.
Yeah, that's almost a 3rd-degree burn.
I don't want that, but
Well, I don't want 3rd-degree burns. I want 2nd-degree.
Well, that's blisters and whatever.
Ask yourself. You got to ask yourself this now. Like, I have not watched the Three Stooges since I was in college. I guess maybe right after college was the last time I'd ever really watched it. I think I watched it with my kids a little bit because my boys went through the phase where that was just the funniest shit there was, and so I watched some of that shit with them. But you got to figure. The Three Stooges is all about laughing at people who who get fucked up. But that's based on who we are. So you got at some point, who was the first guy that laughed when his caveman buddy got stepped on by a woolly mammoth, or he was trying to chunk a spear at a saber-toothed tiger, and he threw it into his foot instead, and then the tiger came and mauled him, and somebody had to laugh at that shit at some point.
Yeah, because nobody saw that on the primeval bingo card. Yeah,
right.
Nobody
so they're all
stab himself in the fucking foot.
That had to come from somewhere. It didn't just start happening when because when I worked construction, and people would have all kinds of crazy shit happen to them, and everybody would laugh. Yeah, a guy walking around with he put a nail through his hand with a pneumatic nailer or some shit, and everybody's laughing. He's like, "Who you think you are, Jesus?" That kind of shit.
Right.
Yeah, I once saw a guy in a warehouse I was working in. He rolled over the top half of his foot with a fucking forklift. And
Jesus.
Yeah. Fortunately he was wearing steel toe boots, which is required of everyone. But if it were not for those steel toe boots, like he still kept his foot and everything. Like he just went right over the fucking metatarsals with it. And dude, he dropped, grabbed his foot. We're freaking the fuck out. Everyone went crazy, but he kept his foot, man. And he crushed the bones in it, but he kept his foot.
I once had a, from my own pride and stupidity, I was trying to unload this. It was a 7 or 8 foot laminated press wood cabinet for a band room in a high school that we were working on. and I was trying to unload this. I was trying to roll this thing down out of a trailer with a hand truck, and I got, and so I was going slow, and I was doing it, going backwards, and I got down to the very bottom, and I turned, like an inch too soon. So instead of hitting the gravel or the ground and pulling it straight back and then turning, I turned it so that, I guess it was probably the right wheel jumped off of the ramp just right there at the bottom, just enough to throw that shit off balance. And then I got up under it to try to steady it.
No.
And the fucking thing fell on me. And so, so I'm laying there on fucking gravel, with this thing laying on top of me. It's, it's almost like, the Wile E. Coyote in a big fucking anvil or a piano.
You should just let it fall, man. You should just let it fall.
And the guys were like, first of all, there was nobody around when it happened. So I just kind of laid there for a minute, just, getting my wits back about me, because it didn't knock me out, but it was like my head hit that gravel pretty hard. And so then I was just laying there, and then I hear, I'm laying there for a couple of minutes, and I hear, oh shit. And the guys come running over, and they're like lifting that thing off. They're getting me back up under there. And they're like, you okay? You need to go to the doctor. You need to do this, you need that. I was like, no, I'm fine. I'm just,
Hey, can you imagine that happening, being around a bunch of fucking women, dude? You would have died.
Just a little scratched up. Well, that's my point. When I got back up, once they saw that I was okay, then like for a solid month, it was like, hey, let Nick unload the trailers. He needs to practice, shit like that. We got there.
PTSD my ass. We'll get you through it.
After we left that job, we went to we were working on a small college in West Alabama, and we got there early one morning, and we had to unload another trailer. This guy walks up to me with a hand truck. He said, "You ever used one of these before? Because you're gonna have to use one all day today." He just raked me out, for weeks over that shit.
Oh shit!
I was afraid that my nickname was gonna end up being Hand Truck or something. I'm just glad I got out of it without that.
Dude, we have a guy that God damn, it's been like 3 years ago. We had a guy roll one of the trucks when he was driving up to Wyoming to do jobs, and it's icy and all that shit because it's Wyoming, and Wyoming sucks. Well, he rolled one of the trucks. Like, he fucking rolled this thing. He demolished this truck. All right. But he survived and minimal injuries. But to this day, we give him shit about it, because he'll come out and be like, because he's the one that opens his own fucking mouth. Because he'll be like, hey guys, check this, check that. He's Mr. Safety. And it's like, and
he is.
Well, I'm going to give a name. It's not his real name, but I'll be like, hey, Jordan, how's that rollover? And he turns around and he's just like, fuck. Because nobody else has done that. And it's, he's fine. He's okay by the grace of God or whatever, a good seatbelt. Yeah. But because we saw the video, because there was a camera in the truck that recorded the whole fucking thing. It's like watching a motherfucker in a washing machine with all these, all these shit flying around. He's getting hit by his backpack. It's like there's his water bottle fucking smacking him in the head. It's like, oh God, but he ended up minor injuries, but to this day, we give him shit.
That reminded him Ice Road Trucker. Call him Ice Road Trucker.
No shit. Dude,
that reminds me. That reminds me when I was working for Houston Distributing, because they distributed beer for Miller Lite and stuff here in Houston. When I got the sales team or the merch team that I got put with was our lead merch guy. He was like 28, 30 or something like that. when I got there, he had already had 4 accidents under his belt.
Sounds like Jordan.
As I was there, like since I'd been there, continue to be there, he got 2 more. And they basically the company said you cannot drive anymore. You can't drive the van anymore.
Fuck
so,
yeah, you are a mess.
Since I was the new guy, and since I was the new guy there, I had to drive him to all of his stops. And so I started. I had to chauffeur him to his stops, on his route, dude. Because, and I quickly gave him the name Crash,
dude.
Because his last name was Thompson. I call him Crash Thompson, dude.
Sounds like
comment. McTubus's comment explains his career path, I think.
Yeah, right.
Dude, totally
That's when he got it. That's his epiphany period.
I'm surprised, I'm surprised he's not a set decorator.
Imagine him being an interior decorator for fucking homes.
No, but I could imagine him being a set decorator for a porn site.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. Yeah, no shit. Your Crash Thompson sounds like Jordan. It's like fuck almighty. And like Crash I said, the favorite fucking thing about Jordan is, he's on the safety committee. And he talks safety shit, and me and
failing up.
Yeah, there's like 4. Well, that's why shit floats to the top. Because there's like 4 or 5 of us that were there when he rolled that truck and saw the video footage and watched the slow-mo of the fucking water bottle hitting him in the face, the backpack hitting him in the head, all that shit. We saw that shit. And we're the ones to always, kind of check him a little bit, like hockey. We're giving him a little check, a little fucking arm check, because he'll be like, "Yeah, you guys need to do this, and make sure when you're driving, you give yourself plenty of distance, and this and this." And it's like, boy, that's fucking, that's a fucking rich coming from a guy who rolled the truck, and he's like.
It's like getting marriage advice from a dude that's been fucking divorced 4 or 5 times.
Right. Because he knows, because he gets all pissed off, but then he's like, wait, I can't come at you, Rob, because you haven't had an accident, And I'm just like, bah, It's fucking hilarious, man.
Bacon, yeah. he didn't, the reason he didn't get that name sooner, well, number one, I wasn't there. And second, I started it because I could get away with it. Because I was driving him around. I was like, this is fucking retarded, dude. So I just started calling him, like, I'd be on because we had the 2-way Nextels, back in the day. This was like 2006 or something, 2007 or some shit. And we had the 2-way Nextels. And we would be in a store, like I would be in the back room loading shit up, and he'd be out in front, like counting the beer up and stuff. And he's like, "Yeah, get me 5 cases of like Miller High Life 12-pack bottle." I'm like, "You got it, Crash."
You got it, Crash. Good 10-4, good buddy. Yeah.
10-4, bro. Bend her over.
And that's how guys interact with other guys. It's the whole, like with Nick, "Oh shit, you okay, bruh?" Yeah, I'm all right. All right, you motherfucker. Now we got a name for you. That's how it goes. Same shit. Dude, Jordan not only rolled a truck, but I think it was the same year. He got in a motorcycle accident too. Okay. And he has the same fucking bike, same make and model as I do. And I remember him talking about, "Yeah, I ride this Honda Shadow Arrow, blah, blah, blah." I'm like, "All right, right on, man. I got one of those, as well as the Indian. I got one of those. It's my first bike. It's a great bike." And then all of a sudden, I hear, well, Jordan was going to an event in Vegas, and as he was getting off in Beaver to stop and fuel up, he had an accident. And I'm like, oh shit. I know the exit he took because I've taken it. Yeah, he took that fucking exit way too fast. And by the time he realized that, yeah, dude, you're going way too fast, he fucking hit gravel and laid that fucker down. And he, he fucked his knees up and he fucked his shoulder up and a bunch of shit. And it's good that he's okay. But he stopped bragging about riding his motorcycle as much. Because I'm like, wait, you were going south on I-15. You were going to Vegas, right? And he's like, yeah. When he came back after surgery and recovery.
Rehab.
Yeah. 6 months later when he comes back. And I'm like, wait. Hey, dude, are you okay? Yeah. Oh, yeah, I'm okay. All right. So, dude, let me get this straight. You were going to Vegas on your Honda 750 Shadow Arrow. Yeah. And you were on your way to Vegas. So you're going south, right? Yeah. I was going south. And you decided to stop off at Beaver and get gas and piss and get something to eat, whatever you were doing, right? Yeah. I was going to Beaver. Yeah. I stopped off in Beaver. And so I know the exit because I've taken it multiple times. And I'm like, so you got off at Beaver and well, there was gravel and I'm like, really, bro?
Really? I don't get it. How did that happen?
What I learned about Jordan that day, from his motorcycle accident, where I have the same fucking bike, was, Jordan.
You are a guy who is a weekend warrior, and you ride from work to home. You don't ride.
Oh shit.
Yeah, well, because that's the point. Because I'm like, well, I've been through that exit a dozen times. And I knew it. Yeah, the first couple of times you fucking slow the fuck down because you don't know that exit. It's new. So you slow the fuck down, you take it easy. And then when, you've done it about, 5-6 times, then you're like, oh, I know this exit. And you take it a little quicker. You know your bike, you know the road, you know your shit. And that's where I was like, apparently you don't ride interstate too much, do you?
Nope.
I've taken that same exit, never wrecked any of my bikes. Well, I already know your level of riding because he was like, hey, Rob, let's go for a ride. And I'm, nah, bro, I'm good. You do you. Dude, Bo, you're laughing, but there's been a few guys I work with that find out that I ride. And they're like, hey, Rob, we need to go for a ride. And I'm like, nah, bro. Nah, it's all good. Because I already know. It's like, oh, you're the guy that, commutes to work. You ride up to work and from work. So you got 15 miles, 20 miles, and that's about it. And you don't do interstate. You don't get on the interstate. So you're not doing 85 like I do. You're not doing 100. You haven't rode in a group. You haven't rode with a pack. You haven't been in a club. No, I'm good, bro. You go do your rides, have fun. And I hope you're okay. And I do. I hope they're okay. But it's like, nah, I'm good. Go do your ride. Go do your thing.
That reminds me what McTuber was saying earlier about dropping a pallet full of milk inside the back of a truck or whatever. We had I was at this supply warehouse where I was working in the cooler section of the warehouse because they got a freezer, a cooler, and a dry section. And we had a guy that was filling in from the day crew on forklift that night, dropping for us. This motherfucker, dude. I'm surprised he didn't get fired.
This motherfucker.
I'm surprised he didn't. Well, the thing is like, because like the night crew, like we're fucking. It's a higher tempo, higher pace at night, and this guy was clearly not ready for the shit. He's been working for the company for like 5 or 6 years, dropping as a forklift operator. He was not ready for the tempo for the night crew, and so he was filling in, and we were in the cooler section, and one of the guys was like, "Dude, I need like 25 cases of fucking sour cream," and these sour cream buckets come in like 1 gallon buckets. Plastic buckets.
Buckets.
Buckets. This motherfucker, dude, because there was like 2 of them, and I saw this shit happen. There was 2 of them because I was at the opposite end of the aisle, pulling meat, fucking steaks and shit, racks, and this guy, I saw this shit happen. This dude hooked it. He was on the end cap dropping. He was dropping from all the way up top from the top deck. And he come out with his forks, man. And he took it too short. He turned it too short, and it hooked the side rail of the steel, and it just pulled that whole fucking pallet just straight off from that right fork, and just came all the fuck down, dude. And when that shit, and I mean that's from like 30 or 40 feet up in the air. When that fucking pallet hit the goddamn deck, fucking sour cream went every fucking where inside that back end of that warehouse, dude. It was a bukkake fucking choke slam from the fucking top rope, bro. It was so bad, dude. We had to shut down that fucking end of the warehouse in that aisle, dude. I was like, and they were still cleaning off fucking sour cream like 2 weeks later from the doors and everything. We're like, how their fucking sour cream got in places that we didn't even think sour cream could get to.
You remember how in Big Trouble in Little China, Kurt Russell called his rig the Pork Chop Express?
Yeah.
Well, in light of that story and also McTubus's, I think there needs to be a rig out there called the Bukkake Express. Just to keep that imagery moving forward. That would be a great new porn series, the Bukkake Express, instead of the Bang Van,
Bang Bus.
Bang Bus.
Hey, see, there we go.
You got to forgive me. I'm old.
You're old.
I don't know what the kids are into these days.
You can call it the Bukkake Choke Van.
No, Bukkake Express is better. It's a little bit more elegant. Can you just see a bunch of kids standing on the side of the road? Hey, look, the Bukkake Express. It goes rolling by. What? I mean, think about that. You got a van. You got a van. You maybe got a chick, maybe 2 chicks in there, and a few dudes on top of her. Imagine what you could have going on in a full rig going down the road.
Oh my god, dude.
I mean, you could actually probably film 3 separate scenes, throughout that truck.
Yeah, you could. McTubus, here's your next project. Come on, the Bukkake
homework.
The Bukkake Express.
There's your homework, McTubus.
By McTubus. Written by McTubus. Directed by McTubus.
Starring
cinematographer
McTubus.
Executive producer McTubus.
Man number 1, McTubus. Man number 2, McTubus. Woman number 1.
Are you imagine a screenplay for that fucking thing, dude?
Oh gee, I wouldn't put up. I probably wouldn't put up any money, but man, I would help write that shit all day.
Dude, that would be so awesome. The first scene is intro, the cab lizard.
Oh man, I think we've mapped out the rest of McTubus's career path.
I think so. I think we just figured it out for him. Here's your blueprint. You're welcome.
Yeah, I do want to throw. I mentioned something in the comments here, but I do want to tell this Big Mac guy or girl or whatever. He says, "Have we ever done an episode on Sneeko?" I don't know what a Sneeko is, but I'll tell you what, we don't give a shit about whatever all that shit is. So we don't do episodes. We don't do episodes. We're not dick riding every meme in the on the internets in order to hopefully draw in.
I heard mention of them. I heard mention of them on Twitter. I still have no fucking idea.
Dude,
So
I muted the account and I muted the words. Just that's all you need to know.
Oh, that's so like, dude,
fuck it.
On that subject, on that matter, I have muted so many motherfuckers this past week, and it's only fucking Thursday. I've muted so many motherfuckers following Ryan because he's getting into it. Like, well, number one, you got the numberology guys, and then number two, you got these guys you got the statistics bros. I flicked on that. These reply guys and fucking about statistics. They're constantly putting up like all these fucking line graphs and bar charts and shit, and it's like, yeah, this is the way it is. So there's no fucking. And every time I saw that shit today or this past week, I was just sitting there thinking about Rob's seminal article about "Don't Tell Me the Odds." I just kept thinking, I'm like, "Don't tell me the odds. Don't tell me the odds."
These
motherfuckers, dude.
I was farting around on Twitter and somebody mentioned that Rolo was on. Rolo had that numerology guy on his show that he does with that other guy. I don't know his name, and so I was like,
yeah.
All right, well,
I tuned into it.
Well, I flicked it on for about 30 seconds. I was like, nope. Turn that shit off.
I think I stood like 10 minutes of it. 10 whole fucking minutes.
Jesus Christ.
This guy was just fucking. I mean, I put him up there. He's probably worse than flat earthers. And like nothing he said made fucking sense, dude. And I'm bad at math. So how hard this shit was for me to watch. But I watched like 10 minutes of this guy was just fucking a moron, dude.
I watched
like nothing. This is all coat.
I watched 30 seconds, maybe a minute, and I flipped it off because it was like, like we talk about all the time. I'm not as old as Rob, but I'm close, and I'm like, I don't know how much time I've got left, but I'm sure not giving it to,
some random asshole on the internet. All right.
No shade to Rolo, but if I'm, I don't even watch Rolo's thing where they had, where they do the Fresh and Fit show in Las Vegas, but I'm not even going to watch that. I've never watched that. I would rather watch that than whatever that shit was. Cause 30 seconds of that, I was like, God damn, fuck that. Nope.
Yeah, David, it wasn't retarded, haha funny. It was just fucking retarded. Like I can't get that time back anymore.
Well, that's the whole point of why I didn't watch one moment of.
And the thing was because like my rationale, my rationale behind it was similar to like I thought it was going to be something like astrology, like what you're into and stuff you've done before, Rob, where it's like some sort of basis and.
Oh no,
no! This was not that. This is the opposite of that shit. It was fucking stupid, dude. Like I lost fucking brain points. What fucking few I have left?
If that dude,
I lost some of the motherfuckers.
If that dude lived in my neighborhood, I mean, legit, I would have, mortars and rifles zeroed in every 10 yards between my house and that guy's.
Yes, sir. At least.
And, I would, if he's, if I saw him on his way to my house, I would start with the mortars and then I would clean up with the, with the rifle
or the flamethrower. Yeah.
And it wasn't even, if he'd have been, if he would have sat down, and just been like, oh yeah, here's what I think, I think you guys are fucked, but you don't have to believe me. Okay, whatever. If he just sat down and had, like an ounce of frame and presenting his own position, it'd be like, all right, well, he's a nut, but I'd still have a beer.
I would,
but I was,
if I had a dude live inside my neighborhood, I would
He
pick
looked
up
like
Rod. He looked like a
coked
maniac.
out. I mean, he looked coked out, and he
Yeah.
wasn't. You know,
Yeah.
so it's like,
Like
man,
if that the guy
I
lived
don't
near
fuck
me,
with
I
those
would
guys.
I would physically pick up Rob with his fucking Spitfire and gear on. I would use him as a human fucking flamethrower and go at this guy's fucking house and lawn.
He
I would just pick
remind
Rob
me-
up, walk down a fucking sidewalk on the street.
You're gonna have to talk
It
to me.
Blow, Rob, blow down, motherfucker. Do it.
he
And I would just
reminded
pick up
me
Rob
of
and fucking run off.
he reminded me of an ADHD version of this character, Crazy Joe Davola from Seinfeld, who was
Oh shit!
he's-
yeah, I know what you're talking.
He sounded
about.
like he sounded like a Downy on cocaine, bro. Like that's what he
I'll tell you what I'll tell you who he
he's on
sounded
Downs on
like.
cocaine.
He sounded like that clinical psychologist chick that I dated after she'd chugged a bottle of Prosecco. That's what, because that's how that's how
Nice.
she was acting that time. And that was our first. It wasn't our first date. That was her first time to come over to the house.
Oh,
but
Jesus.
She was like that. It was like, you know, she's holding it in. She's holding it in. She's holding it in. She's like, hey, you know, I said, what do you want to drink? I've got, you know, such Prosecco. She said, oh yeah, Prosecco. And she killed that bottle in less than half an hour. And then she was,
Bro, that's a
you
red
know,
flag. That's a red fucking
she was,
flag.
well, you know, in this case, red flag's a green light, because she was alternately
Right.
ranting about how her father wouldn't take her on camping trips when she was a girl.
Oh
and-
shit. Here
and
we
ta-
go.
And taking her clothes off and jumping up on the couch doggy style. And she was like, you know, I've been thinking about this all day. Hit it hard. Hit it hard.
Woo.
And I was like, I got more Prosecco. That chick.
Hey, do you want me to use my
I
use the bottle or my dick or both?
I dated her, and then I also dated a research psychologist. They both were just the most off-chain, crazy, off the rails, insane people I dated after my divorce by far. But
how was the sex though?
They passed everybody else.
How was the sex?
You already know how it was. It was fucking great.
Right.
It
Because
was.
red flags are a green light.
I mean, when you got a chick, you know, throwing her clothes off and just hopping up doggy style on the couch and saying, hit it hard.
Hit
I've
it
been
hard.
thinking about it all day. It ain't going to be bad.
Oh, hell no.
It ain't going to be bad.
Hell
dude.
no. Unless you're one of those motherfuckers on Twitter that want to chase the white whale, you know, because my morals, my turpitude, my principles, you're not clearly you're a 304, you belong to the streets and you're not the one. You know, it's like, because otherwise I'm like thinking, you know,
Hell yeah. Bring that shit on.
you know, hit it hard, you know, hit it hard for me, daddy.
Hell yeah.
That's how I look at that shit. It's like,
She's
God,
like, you know, she's like all, you know, weepy,
Let me
but
consult my
ranty.
graph.
My dad used to go on these camping trips with his buddies, and he'd take my brother, but not me. I was like, well, there's a reason for that. And she's like, you know,
oh, dude. Yeah, you know, that reminds me.
poor thing. Tell me all about it.
Yeah, KZ, this is what you get when you fuck around and you find out. You know,
Why you don't leave?
that's
You
right.
stay put, motherfucker.
That's right. You
You
better
wear diapers if you have to, in a
Exactly.
catheter.
Catheter, diapers, depends. You have your liquor set up in front of you. You never leave the room, ever.
Rob was the
Don't
Rob.
leave the lazy boy.
You remember the opening scene of Raiders of the Lost Ark when Indiana Jones is going through that cave with that torch? That was Rob. Rob
Yeah.
was that torch.
Rob was the Human Torch.
He's got creds. He's got You know,
Dude, you know what? That's funny you bring up Indiana Jones.
And the thing is, like with Rob's bald head, I could use it at night too.
well, I mean, you know,
The
you think
moonlight shining off that motherfucker.
you think Rob's going through this thing where it's like, yeah, I've always wanted to do this.
It's a phase,
Do this.
bro.
I always wanted to blow fire and everything else, but what you don't realize is these were seeds that were planted way back in his childhood and his adolescent years, and he's just now reconciling himself with the fire, except now he wants to control it instead of, you know, simply hold it or whatever, burn
Watching it. Dude, I'm telling you what, you know, you're so right, Nick. Except the Human Torch thing, you're a little off.
Flame on, motherfuckers.
Yeah, whatever, Nick. Okay, you're not gonna distract me from this point. So it's funny, you fucks bring up, you know, Nick, you bring up Indiana Jones and the torch and the opening scene of Raiders, and I'm like, oh shit, my childhood. But you forgot a critical point: the bullwhip.
Oh,
The bullwhip.
oh.
Have you ever heard of a fire whip? You motherfuckers out there in the chat. Nick?
Yeah, because you talked about it last
I've
week.
seen one.
Goddamn
I've seen
right,
one.
dude. I am
I've-
so getting me one of those motherfuckers.
I'll tell you, I have seen
fire
one.
whip.
You know where I've seen one, Rob?
Where,
Guess where I've seen one.
Where did you see one, Bull?
Texas Renaissance Fair.
Shit, nice.
Yep.
I guess I got to come to Texas just for that alone.
And it's not during the regular day. You
Oh,
gotta
no,
go to the
no,
drum
no.
circle at night.
Yeah.
Drum circle,
Oh,
post,
geez.
you know,
Drum circle. Jesus Christ. All right.
you have to come out to the drum circle. You may have to partake of some, you know, herbage or not. Just bring a bottle and you will see, you'll see the Balrog, bro. You will see the fucking Balrog out there.
Dude, put David's comment back up there. That's it. That's it. Okay.
That's what we'll call you, the Balrog.
Dude, David, you have no fucking idea. Okay, you bring that up in jest. You bring it up as an off the sleeve, off the cuff comment. He's turning into the Balrog.
I am the Balrog.
Dude, seriously, I've been talking to my instructors, and not only the whip, but I'm like, what's it gonna take for me to, you know, who do I need to talk to be set on fire? And they're like,
Oh,
they're like, my instructor's like,
Bruh.
and I'm like, no, I'm for real. And they're like, really? And I'm like, yeah, I want to actually be set on fire. I want to be that guy that has fire coming off my body. And they're like, oh, there's a guy for that. Let's hook you up. And I'm like, give me the phone number because I want to talk to these motherfuckers. Because
there you go.
funny thing, when I first went to these people and I seen some of their shit on YouTube and whatnot, and they're burning little parts of their body and whatnot. And this was before I ever, you know, breathed fire, but I expressed the interest in breathing fire. But when I went to them, I was like, is it weird that I'm a little more reluctant to breathe fire than I am to be set on fire? And that's when one of the instructors was like, oh, we have a guy for that. We'll hook you up. And I'm like,
All you had to do was ask.
yeah, seriously, dude, there's so many connections that I'm like, okay, I need to go talk to these guys to be like, hey, I want to be set on fire. And they're going to be like, cool, bruh. And I'm like, no, I'm for real. I want to be set on fire. Set me on fire so I can be on a stage with a fire whip because I want to be the ultimate
Balrog. Because
you know, that's what it is.
You're going to need horns. You're going to need horns. You know
Dude,
that, right?
Bull, I have horns.
Okay.
I I have that shit, bro. I have it. I got all that shit. I just need the wings and the fire whip. I can be the Balrog because I want to be, you know, the miniature Balrog, you know, the 4-foot Balrog instead of the
That would be fucking awesome.
17-foot Balrog, you know, whatever. I'm not even joking. I'm like, dude, I want to be that guy. You know, when I saw that scene,
real quick,
that's me. That's me.
Real quick here, Valerie Thong. We don't want to know your status with your gonorrhea. It doesn't need to be shared. Whatever. There's medicine for that.
Well, you know, you shall not pass.
Oh, yes, I will.
Going full Ghost. Yeah, he's going full Ghost Rider. Balrog's worse than Ghost Rider.
Dude, better. Yeah, this is bigger than Ghost Rider. This is like full engulfment head to foot. And whether it's just for a moment in a show or a video that, you know, filmed in real time is like maybe 10 seconds, but you do the slow-mo and it turns into, you know, 30 minutes. Dude, seriously, that's me. I'm like, because I've already thrown ideas at my instructors that I'm like, well, if I wore this, you know, would this work? And they're like, yeah, actually that would work. And I'm like, cool. And they're like, you know, what have you thought about this? I'm like, I never thought about that. That would be dude.
And Billy, you've been watching all. I've known this for years. Like, I've known Rob's a firebug. I've known he's a firebug. You can tell by his fucking tats. Yeah. Yeah.
My tats, the fact that this show's named Let 'Em Burn. Come on.
Shit,
you
know?
First time when I first met Rob in person, dude, I saw his fucking tats on that fucking left arm. I'm like, yeah, this motherfucker's a firebug.
If I were at some mall food court and I saw Rob across the food court, I'd be like, yeah, that guy's most likely to be a pyromaniac in this.
Oh, it's true though. You know, I'm not an arsonist. You know, I'm not committing crimes, but man, you know, everybody, you know, dating's so hard and this is so hard. Yeah, go breathe fire and set yourself on fire and come back to me and tell me what you think. Okay. Seriously. I'm developing a course, kids. It's going to be $399.97. It's called Fire Game. Look out for it when it comes.
I'd be willing to
most
bet.
You fuckers will.
I would be willing to bet that it would be easier for dudes to go from successfully talking to women and then fire breathing than it would be for fire breathing and then talking to women. I think most dudes would still have an easier time with the fire thing than they would just going up to a chick and saying, "Hey, what's up?"
Nope. These motherfuckers do not have
flame game.
Yeah.
Flame game.
I think most of these guys are way more intimidated by women than they are fire.
Nope. I'm
not saying they would do fire, but I'm saying that the ones who would have an easier time doing it.
Oh yeah, you know, McTubus and Danny and a couple of these other motherfuckers, they'd buy the course for $400 and they'd be like, "Oh man, I got this." And they'd go out and breathe fire, and then when the girls start jizzing in their panties, these guys would be like, "Oh hey, what's up?" You know, and that would be it. They'd be like, "Oh, you know, how easy is?"
Yeah, but those guys. They can already talk to women though.
Thank you. That's my point. These other motherfuckers.
That's my point.
No, these other motherfuckers would be like, no, bro, I'm not breathing fire. I'm not setting myself on fire. You know, and it's like, yeah, but you won't talk to girls either.
Right. That's what I'm saying. I'm saying that they wouldn't do that either. But
pussies.
There would be some that would have an easier time. I still maintain that they're going to have an easier time if they did one or the other, going from fire to women than women to fire.
Oh, yeah, that part I'll agree with you.
That's what I said. That was my point.
All right. Well, dude, I'm half drunk. Leave me alone.
You degenerate motherfucker. God damn it. Why can't we get some fucking morals on this show?
Yeah.
I'm not drinking. I'm just on muscle relaxers.
All right, I'm back. What did I miss?
I don't know. Rob's having some kind of spurg out.
I would never touch that fire. Only quality male touch. The fire is smoldering and not high quality firing.
Dante, you're not even 6 feet tall. You're not even a man.
Yeah, dude. I mean, it's like, just wait till you get your first round of gonorrhea and take the meds. You'll be fine. I promise. It's not that big a deal.
Does a burning sensation while you're pissing count as spitting fire?
It can.
See, all this has been metaphorical. All we've really been hearing about is Rob's problem with his gonorrhea.
I mean, I don't know, man. It's like after your first round of gono, it's like, what are you afraid of?
It's an analogy for the clap. That's right.
I do like the flame game.
What flame game beats camera game all day long.
Well, yeah. Oh, dude, I would so smoke what was his name?
Goldman.
Yeah, that guy, the guy that wrote the book. I could write probably 30% less than his book, which I have it. I have camera game because I too am a photographer, and most of his material is actually pretty good. But dude, I could probably write my shit and it would be like 35 pages. And I could probably charge triple what he did and it would be a better seller than his.
Well, you could
grow some stones and blow fire and watch the chicks come up and go, "Oh my God." And you're like, right?
Well, that's the AMOG angle. You just, when he's out there taking pictures of chicks, just walk up on the sidewalk and say, "Hey, camera boy, take a picture of this."
That's right. Yeah. Hey, you want a good picture? Watch this.
Rob, what's the name of that book you've told me about? I can't remember. Alabaster Woman?
Oh, the
Alabaster Girl?
Alabaster Girl.
Okay, girl.
And Perry-on.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good book.
Cool.
But guys, if you want to blow past all the Alabaster Girl shit, just learn to breathe fire. I got a course coming out.
No, I was asking because I need to get it and read it.
Well, that's what I'm saying. You don't need that if you learn fire game. You don't need
fire game.
That's right, dude. It's funny. We're joking around, but at the same time, I'm a little serious because, the first time I went up there and started blowing and watching these other women that are fire dancers, belly dancers, LED dancers.
Oh, I love those girls. Oh my God, I love those girls.
Well, all the crew was there because they were practicing. And then me and my instructor, after he told me about fire pneumonia, being fire drunk, getting a fire hangover, all that shit. And I was like, cool, bruh.
Because you ingest some of that stuff, don't you?
You always take in a little bit. Okay. There's no, you're never going to expel all of it. So you have to learn what fuels you want to use. Because
kind of like dipping, almost like dipping tobacco, like you're going to swallow some of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So some of it over a long enough period of time will kill you. Some of it in a shorter period of time will kill you. Some of it, if you swallow even a little bit of it, will kill you. Okay. So you learn which one's the one that, I can do this for a while before it'll kill me.
AMOG by a Balrog.
That's right. Okay.
Like a 4'6" Balrog too, dude.
A midget Balrog, a battle dwarf Balrog.
Fucking battle dwarf Balrog, dude.
All right. Okay, so you learn what fuels are the least harmful because they're all harmful. Every one of them. There's no safe one. So you learn which ones are the least harmful because you're going to swallow a teeny bit every time. Okay. And
Oh,
some
this is so fucking appropriate, Dante. You don't even understand.
dude, Dante.
Rob got tired of chasing the dragon, so he became one.
Kind of true. It goes back to my story. Yeah, it does.
Dragon game.
Dragon game. No shit. Not even flame game or fire game. Dragon game. No shit.
After 50 or 60 years of chasing a dragon, you just say fucking become it.
Dude, it so ties into my story when I wrote about chasing the dragon too.
Yes.
Jeez,
Yeah.
I decided to become the dragon. No shit.
I've never heard that one.
We've got spiritual breakthroughs every week here on
That's
Burn
right.
Thursday
That's
nights.
right. We're having all kinds of shed confessionals, kids.
Epiphanies.
Rob has ascended, bro. He's ascended.
I
am the dragon.
That's what it is, you know. But you do.
It's like the movie. It's awesome. He became the dragon.
I did. I became the dragon, literally. You know, the flame tattoos and the fire breathing, dude. Bruh, you're the dragon.
You have entered the dragon.
I know.
Entered the dragon.
I become the dragon.
What did Mrs. Dragon say to Mr. Dragon?
Fucking
Oh,
Bruce Lee, like, I also had thought of that. Oh.
Motherfucker.
Oh shit. Oh, bacon.
I'm so mad.
Yeah,
I'm so mad now.
I'm so mad. Fuck. No shit. Guessing Thor.
Rob is asshole.
Rob is asshole. No shit. Thor's gonna have to change the name of his show. I'm gonna have to reach out to him and be like, Thor, bruh, this ain't it.
Hey, yeah, not to
Thor's gonna change his whole shtick to be like Kratos from the fucking video game. He's gonna change his name to Kratos and
I don't want
fucking chain blades.
Not to go down a rabbit hole, but Thor's a good guy. I've talked
He
to him
is.
before.
I don't want to throw shade at Thor.
No, yeah, he
I like
is. He's a
Thor.
good guy. Yeah.
No, I mean, I didn't say you were. But it's I just popped into my head. I was like, yeah, Thor's a good guy. I like him.
He is. I don't want to throw shade at Thor. He is.
There aren't a lot of dudes on the retarded playground that I can say that about.
Right.
Who have any reach, especially, but he's in my book, he's one of the good ones. So
Yeah, I agree. That's why I'm saying I'm not going to throw shade at Thor. Thor's a good guy.
well, I still think we should. I still think we should make fun of him, but you know.
Well,
yeah, definitely.
I gotta make fun of him because that's
Definitely.
what we do.
I gotta get to know him better before I make fun of him.
No, you don't.
No, because he's the kind of dude. He just takes everything in stride, man.
He
Like,
really
knows
The dude
he knows you're joking.
The dude's seen some shit.
That's
Yeah.
He's been, it's what is that? Iron sharpens iron, like recognizes like, game sees game, whatever. Thor gets it. Thor gets it, and we get it when we see Thor. That it's like, oh, this dude's been through some shit.
Yeah, and if you ever had the opportunity to hear like the whole, I mean, all of his story, not just the recent
his
shit,
whole
but
backstory.
just going all the way back to when he was younger. It's a fucking that's talk about something's either going to kill you or make you stronger. That's why he's such a solid dude, is because he's actually been through real fucking shit.
Hell. He's been through hell. Yep. And that's why, for the disclaimer for the morons, I can't throw shade at Thor because the dude's been through some shit. And it's like,
absolutely.
And he's still there. He's still punching up. And it's like, good for you, Thor. So
And he's in such a good mood about he's so positive about shit, man. It's like, dude, how can you be through the shit that you've been through and not be a little bit cynical? And he's not there.
Well, as far as the, I mean, he's one guy who's true. He truly has a heart for helping people, and that's
he really does.
Yeah,
that is no shtick. That is no put on. That is absolutely who that guy is. He's not doing it, just because he wants clout or he wants whatever. It's like that's
how many
he's been
times
doing is he's been doing longer than the manosphere and the red pill and shit has been really around.
Well, how many guys do you see that we actually endorse here on this channel at any time?
Very few.
It rarely, very few. It hardly happens.
Yep.
Maybe Ryan Stone, the Canadian.
Yep.
And Thor.
That's it.
The Californian.
Thor, that's about it. That's seriously no Thor's
honestly, I mean Thor, if he wanted to transplant from California to here in Texas, I'd allow it. I would allow it.
Wow.
It's mighty white.
I would meet him.
I'll tell you
I would meet him
at the border.
I would meet him at the border with my ARs and my shotties and be like, "Come, brother, come into the fold."
You're welcome.
The only other person I would do that for is Rob.
Thanks, man.
The rest of you motherfuckers.
Well, Nick, you just had your confessional, so we revoked.
I don't want to go to Texas anyway. That ain't the South.
No, shut the fuck up.
It ain't. Y'all some kind of fucked up half breed, half Southern, half Mexican.
Shut up, cousin fucker. Jesus Christ.
Jesus. Here we go.
Drill your sister in the ass.
Southern.
The Southern pissing contest. You don't know about okra, motherfucker. I know about okra.
You don't know grits, motherfucker. Actually, it's more like y'all don't know about grits, motherfucker.
Y'all don't know nothing.
You don't know nothing.
But I tell you what,
fucking Nick puts fucking syrup in his grits like a faggot.
Oh, goddamn boy.
My grits get butter, salt, pepper, and crushed up bacon. That's what and maybe some cheese, but
and tranny jizz.
No. Shh. Run that by me one more time, Nick. So you said butter, salt, pepper, and what was the other one? No, I'm not fucking around. I'm being serious.
Hog brains, nuts, the tail of a pig.
Yeah, all right, whatever. What I noticed, Nick, Bull. I was having a discussion. With a gentleman.
He's back.
I get it, but Jesus,
Bull.
No shit. It's too bad it's not my show, because I'd probably, Nick's Bull, because this is a serious.
Oh, Jesus.
Okra pickles, motherfucker. For you guys that were dissing okra on Twitter,
no,
get you some okra pickles.
You didn't bring up sugar. You didn't bring up sugar,
right?
And so, therefore, I know you are a true Southern gentleman.
We don't put sugar inside grits around here.
Who's we? What the fuck are you talking about?
Bull,
motherfucker.
Hey, Bull, eat yourself for a minute, will you? Come on. There you go. So that's power and respect, ladies and gentlemen. We can make you eat yourself, but no, I've never known anybody to put. I'm not saying it doesn't happen, but I've never known anybody to put sugar in grits. I know people put, bacon, salt, pepper, butter. I've seen people put like a hot sauce, pepper sauce in there.
Yeah, hot sauce.
Hot sauce.
And by hot sauce, I mean pepper sauce for the most part. And pepper sauce is like, that's just vinegar with, peppers packed in the bottle. But I have seen people put red sauce in there too.
Like jalapeno and cayenne with vinegar.
Nothing wrong with that. That's still Southern gentleman.
I've seen people put all that shit in there.
I've seen people put bacon in with the grits.
But I mean, I'll crush up bacon and
grits. Bacon goes with everything.
For sausage. I mean, I don't eat. I mean,
But your staple though is going to be it's like Nick said. It's going to be some salt, pepper, butter.
That's the.
And not margarine, butter. Like actual butter.
Well, dude, if you had to even explain that, you're not.
I have to. Like, dude, I've seen it. I've seen motherfuckers put
you can, when you come with your ARs and your slabs of meat hands that can palm a basketball. When I ask for entry into Texas, you can be like, well, of course, come on in, because I don't do margarine or sugar. We're fine.
Okay.
Well,
no seed oils.
If I saw somebody putting like brown sugar, syrup, molasses, sugar, whatever else, into their grits, I would think that they were just like
they're from Massachusetts.
The slimy piece of shit twinkle toes cocksucker that put their dog's poop bags in my trash can today out at the street. I'm turning my porch cam out. Any y'all in South Alabama, if y'all the ones that did that, you fixing to get fucked up. Because if I find the person who did that,
you slimy nose cock sucking twinkle toed motherfucker. Yeah.
because yesterday was trash day, but now I either have to do something with that shit, or I got to let it sit in my goddamn trash can for a week until the next trash day comes around. Or I could, I'm certainly not opening the bag and dumping that shit in the back part of my property. I'm not throwing it in the storm sewer. But if I find the cocksucker that put it in my trash can, they're getting it back. And I think I know who it is.
Real quick, Big Mac. The reason why they call you ham hands because you jerked off the football team during fucking homecoming.
Oh Jesus! Did it
fuck around? Find out.
Was it one at a time, or was it ski pole, or was
it was double barrel, baby, double fucking barrel,
Dutch rudder.
Dutch rudder. Where's Jack Napier when you need him?
Exactly. Where's Jack? Oh, that reminds me.
He's getting defended by our military, so he can wax and wane about blondes versus brunettes and shit.
I got to DM that motherfucker. That reminds me. I got to DM him before tomorrow and say, hey, bro, I'm not going to be on the show tomorrow night because I'm going to do a festival where there's fire. So, hey, I'll see you next week, kid.
Need to call up Nuclear Cadillo and see if he can save your fucking show.
Yeah. It's like, you got Nuke on speed dial, right? Hit him up, because you need another co-host because I ain't going to be here.
Jack needs anybody who doesn't also play with Legos.
I don't play with Legos,
and I'm not.
He needs the.
I'm not shading him for playing Legos. I'm just saying you can't have two.
No, you can't, because then it's way skewed to the left or something like that. It's like, no, dude, you need to have the counterbalance. And so
that'd be like having
I'll tell you this much:
drunk degenerate motherfuckers on this show. We can't do that.
No, we can.
I will say this. My ARs are like my Lego set. So take it for what it's worth.
But it's still not Legos.
Yeah, it's not Legos. It's like Legos, but
it's more like an erector set, really.
Sure. If you have enough of the blue pill, yeah.
I still have 3 or 4 half assembled ARs back in my.
Yeah, I saw your
gun room.
Yeah, I saw your pic you had a couple weeks ago that you replied to one of my posts about. I'm like, Jesus Christ.
Those were the pistols, right?
Yeah, the pistols. You had all the pistols. I just have a couple pistols. I'm not like a pistols guy, so
that's really my main.
It was
thing,
it was really nice setup. It was nice.
No, you're not a pistol guy. No, I would have never guessed.
I love working on ARs.
I've never seen you with a picture of a pistol in your fucking middle finger. I've never seen it ever. That's where I'm like, no, he's not a pistol guy. No
I never
way.
shot one. I never shot one of your pistols, Rob. Like, yeah, you're off by 10 feet at 20 yards.
Jesus.
Did you get that sight fixed, by the way? Oh shit, he left.
I had
a little sensitive about that still.
I do have a busted sight. I have a cheap holographic sight on my 22 Target that I used to use for steel matches, but and then I switched to just using the iron sights for it, which actually works out better. You can pick up your sight picture faster with the. At least I can pick up my sight picture faster.
Are you better now, brother? I didn't mean to insult you. I didn't mean to insult you, bro. You just fucking fucked off. Wow, I didn't know it was such a sensitive topic. I mean, I told him his back sight's off a little bit, bro.
Between the alcohol and the pills, you know.
That fire breathing's changed him, bro. It fucking changed him.
It's already rewired him.
I will say this about Rob.
I breathe fire, motherfucker.
He breathes fire, but I mean his Weaver stance is something to behold. His Weaver, once he locks that motherfucker in, it's game fucking on, bro.
You couldn't pick Jack Weaver out of a lineup.
No, you pretty much couldn't.
No, I couldn't, but I know his stance when I see it though. I know the stance when I see it.
Yeah,
he was there because I heard him in the background as I heard his zipper unzip and his dick came out and he started stroking.
That was hard, bro. That was fucking hard.
Get some.
Get some.
I fucking heard. I did. And I'm like,
A-ring, bro, A-ring.
I'm like, that's a little weird, but okay, you do you, bro.
That was the first time that somebody's jizz hit the target better than your every round you fired from your gun.
Hit it better than me and faster too.
Bull destroyed that target with his jizz before you emptied a 13-round mag.
Dude, it's like you were there.
Huh?
It's like you were there.
I grew up. I've been on gun ranges all my life. I've seen it before. It's sad.
I haven't seen someone lock in a Weaver stance like that in years.
I'm saying,
and he just busted out with it. He just locked it in, like his whole body, like his whole fucking sight changed, dude. I was like, oh shit.
For Bull Rush, it's like looking at
zip, and he's like,
it's like going back in time, dude. It's like going back
looking
in
at
time.
Sophia Loren or something. It's like looking at some starlet.
It is.
From the
it really is.
She's like, oh, that.
He's over there. Get some, man. Get fucking some.
It's like all those posts that Clary does with the movie stars from the 1920s and shit.
Oh my god, that's it. Bull's over there going
correct.
Based. He locked that shit. I'm like based.
Oh my god!
Jerking off. The sperm hit the target before I could. It was crazy.
Hey, that could be a new drill. He jizzes on the target, then you have to hit the wet spots, before they dry.
It was a little weird, kids, but I'll tell you, Bull's aim was true.
The new Montezuma drill or whatever.
We call it the Texas two-step.
That's right. See, Chad gets it. Chad gets
the Texas yank. The Texas 2 jerk.
We call it the double pump chump.
The wank girl.
Chad, if you come back to Salt Lake, I promise you there won't be any correct and there won't be Aaron. It'll just be me and you, bro. There won't be any jizz on the targets. It's all good. Just saying.
Oh my god.
Because it was a little weird, but at the same time it was kind of cool. And that's there was no peanut butter and no dog and no hiking.
No peanut butter and dog. Although I did fucking do something to your cat. I alpha widowed your cat for some reason.
Oh, you totally fucked Kabuki up. She's still fucked up to this day.
My God.
I don't know what you did. Well, I kind of have an idea, but I don't want to know. Just saying.
Yeah, I'm ruined for the next time I go out to the range. I'm going to be out there stapling targets to the target stands. And I'm going to be like, oh my God.
Looking over your shoulder. Do I?
So like, oh my God.
Yeah, dude. Oh my God that sums it up. It really does. Oh my God.
It's more like, my God, why have you forsaken me? But
yeah, well, there's that too.
Yeah.
That's too long of a title for a drill, though.
I think you should just call it the Jizzer. Let's run the Jizzer.
Jizzer drill.
Damn.
Call it the nut and run.
Nut and gun.
Nut and gun.
Gun run, bro. Yeah, bro. Let me get ready. That's it. No
I bet you John Wick never ran that fucking drill.
Dude, John Wick doesn't even know. Yeah.
You're going to have at least one RO on the range to keep you from accidentally turning around and shooting his dick off or something. You might just get all, the adrenaline starts flowing.
Friendly fire. Yeah. It's fucked up. I'm telling you what. Hey, Zachary said something earlier. Where is it?
The goal is to be able to hit the jizz out of the air before it ever makes it to the target.
Oh, there's a fucking challenge. That's the one. I'm gonna miss this show someday.
You might miss it sooner than you think.
Yeah, no shit. Kind of like death in the bingo card. You think you're gonna get a heart attack or lung cancer or a fucking stroke, and it turns out, nah, bro. No, you died of some weird dysentery or something.
Well, I was thinking exactly the same thing, because that's exactly how it is, which is why I don't worry about it. I don't worry about dying alone. I don't worry about dying surrounded by my loved ones. I don't worry about any of it, because chances are very high, like we always talked about. You're not going to know when it happens. It's going to happen differently than you think, and maybe there's somebody there, maybe you're not, but you're still a journey you got to take alone. I mean, my father-in-law, who just passed, get this, they had taken him to the hospital. His wife left to go home to change her clothes and get some things to spend the night. One of his daughters had not made it there yet. One of them was there, but had gone downstairs to get something to eat, and that's when he went.
Yeah.
Now, my guess is that he did it himself so that he didn't have to listen to him talk anymore. But regardless, that's how I've seen this play out. When my dad died 10 years ago, last year, he was in a care facility, a hospice 100 miles away.
Mm-hmm.
And I'd been up there for several days. And he had done this a couple of times already and didn't die. And so I'd been up there for a while, needed to get back home and see the kids and, see what's going on at the house. And then I was going to be here for a couple of days. I was going to go back up. And so we all left that night. His wife didn't stay like she had been some of the time. My brother wasn't there. Nobody else was there. And so, by the time I got back home, I already had a phone call that said that, he had gone, and it was while we were all out,
Yep.
And, it's just like, just the way life ends down, if you make it to, somewhat natural causes, and it's it's not a car crash. It's not, an assassination. It's not anything a stroke that takes you right away. All this stuff where it kind of dribbles off. There is no magical end for any of these cases that I've seen so far. And I've seen a few go now, at this point, and it's just
same here.
Basing your decisions on there, or using all that kind of shit as a cope. And this is not me shitting on wanting to have a family or any of that kind of stuff. This is not that, but get all this, this is going to, make the end of my life something special. Chances are,
Well, here's the thing too, because like you guys, I was there whenever my dad passed away. I was sitting there in the room and stuff, holding his hand, and the thing was, is like he was so he wasn't in his right mind. Like he was asked, like the last thing he asked me, or that last thing he said, he asked where our dog was. Like where's our dog at? I'm like, he's at home, Dad. And that's the last thing he ever said.
Jesus.
So you're not. Well, he loved the dog. He was a good dog. I want to, but he was so out of his mind. That's a lot of things that people don't understand. Like you're probably not going to be in your right state of mind and lucid whenever you go. Like you might be thinking, I mean, you're just not going to be there. You're going to be somewhere else.
Right.
So it's very true. Whenever you say like you die alone, dying is not a team fucking sport. It's not a team event.
It's never.
Now,
it never was. And
was it his death? Me being there holding his hand was more closure for me than it was for him. And it's more about the living than it is about the.
Yep.
He doesn't care. His pain is gone, and I was actually relieved whenever he passed away because he was in a lot of pain. I'm glad that it sucks that he left us, but he was in a lot of pain, man. Nothing we could do about it either. I'm just glad he went. And he don't feel anything no more.
Yeah,
it is what it is.
Same boat. Yep.
And so I called my mom. Went out into the lobby. I called my mom, called my brothers. Hey, Dad passed away. Y'all need to get your things together. I'm gonna come pick y'all up. So y'all come see him. And that was it.
Yep. Well, dude, that ties into, me and my dad, him and his bingo card where, leukemia wasn't on it. But then I thought about my bingo card with, motorcycle or a vehicular accident is number 1. Cancer's number 2. And then for me, number 3 was some dude showing up at my door. Okay. Because the lifestyle I live, because, whamming, am I right, guys? Whamming. I had that number 3 because, I've been with married women. I've been with women who, oh yeah, we're good. He understands. And,
Fuck, dude, that's brutal.
Yeah, right.
I love it.
Jesus.
That is the harshness.
No,
that is fucking harsh, man.
Yeah, and I love to see it.
Right. Okay. But here's the fun thing. Okay, kids. So Tuesday when I had the bingo card talk with my dad, and he's like, yeah, I got to move some shit around on the bingo card. And it got me thinking, I go out on Tuesday night after I talk to my dad. I go out and I see Velvet. And, it's our night. We're going to go do our thing. We're going to go out and have a couple of drinks, have a laugh, have a bite to eat, and then we're going to go home and fuck because that's what we do. Okay. Well, I go to Velvet's place and she's like, oh, right before we leave, she's looking magnificent. She's dressed up, got the makeup on, doing the hair, the heels, the whole 9 yards. And I'm like,
God damn.
Okay, so, she's like, but, I got to take the dog out. Got to let the dog take a piss before we go. Okay, fine. So we're out. She's letting the dog piss. And then, okay, let's put the dog back in the house and let's go. We're going to go. We're going to have some drinks, something to eat, have a few laughs, yada, yada. And this dude shows up. And she's shit. Like, oh, yeah, no, this is great, man. You guys are going to love this. This fucking dude shows up. And he's about my age or maybe closer to Nick's age. But this dude shows up. And he's like, oh, and the dog knows him. The fucking dog is just all, fucking going to him and shit. The dog knows who he is. The dog's all happy to see him. Velvet, on the other hand, is like, oh, hey. And she he's like, oh, so what are you doing? And he's like, she's like, hey, or I'm about to go out to dinner and have a couple of drinks because she looks like $1 million. And he's like, oh. And she's like, yeah, so, that's what's up. And then she's like, oh, by the way, Steve, this is Rob. And I'm like, hey, nice to meet you. Put my hand out, shake his hand. And he's like, hey, and then he's like, oh, and he fucking leaves. And I'm like, so who was that? Just out of curiosity, who was that? Because I detected a weird vibe. And she's like, yeah, that's a guy I used to date. And oh boy, Rob, he is jealous of you. And I'm like, oh, the dude, according to Velvet, he just showed up. Okay, maybe, I don't know. I don't care. But the funny thing is, this was an ex or some dude. And then I show up, I'm there, and she clearly, according to her, has told him about me. And according to his reaction, yeah, he knew who I was when I was like, hey, nice to meet you. I'm Rob. He knew who I was, where I didn't know who the fuck he was. I'm like, I don't know this guy. I've never seen him before. I just assumed, oh, this is another dude that you're dating or whatever, or some dude from your past. Turns out it's a dude from her past. And that's when I was like, well, I had, vehicular motorcycle accident as number 1, cancer is number 2, cirrhosis of the liver was number 3. I'm going to have to move the 4th one, which is die by the hands of another man, up a couple of notches. Because
I would have thought cirrhosis top 3.
Yeah. Well, the dude, I said, vehicular motorcycle accident, number 1, cancer, number 2, cirrhosis, number 3. And then number 4 would be the hands of another man. Okay. But I had to move that up a couple of notches. I'm like, oh.
Death by blue pill?
No, not death by blue pill.
Well,
yes.
Blue pill dude.
Yes, yeah. Blue pill dude. Yeah. Yes. Okay, because that was my number 4 on the bingo card. It's like, yeah, some fucking dude's gonna not be okay with whatever. And he's gonna show up at my door, and it's not gonna be pretty. But then when I had that experience on Tuesday night, I was like, oh shit, here's a dude, whatever their situation is, I don't care. It doesn't concern me other than my own personal safety. It doesn't concern me. Whatever you're doing with him, whatever you did with him, I don't care. It's not my problem. But the fact that here this guy showed up, according to her, I just came out of nowhere, showed up. Maybe, I don't know. I don't care. But I'm like, shit. I'm probably, if I have to rearrange shit on the bingo card, I'm like, well, number 1 still is a vehicular or motorcycle accident because I'm on the road with the job, with the bike, all that shit. That's still number 1. But cancer to me was number 2 because mom had it, dad's got it. It's like, oh, that's probably me. But instead of making it number 2, I'm going to have to be, downgrade it to number 3 because I'm thinking realistically, it's like, dude, you're probably going to get killed by some asshole that's blue-pilled, a blue pill alpha because, he's cool with it until he's not.
He's cool until he sees you.
Exactly. He's cool until he sees you, till he meets you, till the idea that sounded great in theory and looked good on paper shows up in the real world right in front of him. And I'm like, oh, hey, man, how's it going? because I don't care.
Until you're no longer the guy in the abstract, then it becomes too real.
Right. Dude,
Yeah.
that's why I'm saying I had to upgrade the 4th to the 2nd place. It's like, dude, don't be surprised, Nick Bull. Don't be surprised if I end up dead because of some blue-pilled alpha.
Well, here's a question for you.
Okay.
To continue along the, the lines of morbidity that we've already laid out for the evening.
Right.
Let's say they said, all right, Rob, you got 3 months tops, or, Bull Rush or me.
Whatever. Yeah. Doctor said, too bad, so sad.
Do you tell people or not? And if so, when?
What? Oh, about the fact that I'm going to die?
Yeah.
No.
No.
See, it's funny you say that, because I would have guessed at least one of you would say yes, but I'm also a no as well.
No.
And the thing,
no
this kind of
change.
ties in. This kind of ties into what Danny is saying here, where when he felt relief when his mom died, but he didn't want to say it out loud because he didn't think anyone would understand. The thing is, like when my dad passed away, I always had known him as a big, strong dude, very, very masculine guy. The last few years of his life it just took his dignity away from him. And I didn't enjoy seeing him like that.
Right.
And the thing is, I would rather my daughter, ex-wife, girlfriend, whatever, family, I would rather see them know me as being up on my feet. I don't want to tell them that shit. I would spend as much time as possible with my daughter and stuff like that for sure, and my family. But I wouldn't tell them. Why would I? What's the big deal? I mean,
right.
The weight of death, the weight of my death would be just the same.
Yep.
As if I told them then, or if I just up and died. The thing is, it's like the weight of my death, if I told them then, would just be prolonged. It'd just be worse for them overall.
Yep.
I'd want them to have the idea of me as I am whenever I was hanging out with them and spending time with them.
Yep.
So, I think
to Danny, there's nothing wrong with saying that. We're feeling shit like that, dude. You're relieving your mom died. That's fine, dude. She doesn't feel pain anymore. That's the way I felt about my dad.
Yep. I felt relieved when my mom died too. So there's no shame.
You don't want your family feeling pain, and there's nothing wrong with saying that. There's nothing wrong with saying that, because you love them and you don't want them to be in pain, just as they wouldn't want to see you in pain.
Yep. But that ties
you want
into
to see him dignified, though.
Yep. But that ties into, would you tell him or would you not? Because
I wouldn't.
if hey, stick a fork in me, I'm done, dude. There's nothing you can do to change it. There's nothing anyone else can do. Do you want to spend the last 3 months, 6 months, 6 weeks, whatever it is?
Right.
Do you want
people feeling sorry for you?
Yep, obsessing
being robbed of your dignity,
or finding out that they don't.
Well, either way, It's not wrong. Yeah. He's not wrong. But do you want them fucking obsessing over it?
Yeah.
Or do you want them to be like, holy shit, wow? I would
like I would. I mean, obviously, I would get a second or maybe a third opinion. But if it was all congruent, I would get my affairs in order in the background and stuff. But yeah, I'd make sure everyone was taken care of. But I would just spend as much time as possible, and they'd be like, "Well, why are you spending so much time?" Well, it's because I want to.
Yeah, because
I feel like it.
I was thinking about that, and it's like, that's my preference now. Maybe if it really happened, I'd pussy out and, who knows what, but that's my preference would be to do it like that for that reason, because the assumption is you can't change it. So what is the last 3 months going to be like? And what are the last 3 months of memories that they have of spending time with you? Is it, you're all just sitting around, oh, let's take this one last, stroll down here and let's, whatever else. It's like the whole thing, I just wouldn't want that.
My thing is like, I wouldn't want that knowledge for them to have to rob me of my dignity. You know.
All right. Well,
I wouldn't want them treating me any differently or doing anything extra special for me. I just want to take them in mainly for myself, not for them, mainly just for myself. I just want to take them in as they are, because once you tell them that kind of information, you know they're going to change. It's going to change the way they treat you.
That is one of those hard decisions that, that it's hard to make and it's hard to follow through on, I would imagine.
Yep.
The flip side of that is, what if somebody that you loved very much was in the same position and didn't tell you? Are you cool?
I'm fine with it.
Good point. Well,
I'm fine with it.
No, yes and no. I see your point, Bo, but I also see what Nick's asking.
I don't want to feel sorry for him.
Dude, it's like for me, with my dad, I'm not going to feel sorry for him. I already know. Okay. Because that's our relationship. And so in that respect, I would rather him give me both barrels straight to the face and just be like, here's where it is, kid. This is where I'm at, and this is where it's going to go. Because I already did the tiptoeing around, or they did. My parents did the tiptoeing around with my mom, where I had to come at both of them simultaneously in her hospital room when she got diagnosed with cancer. That I was like, okay, here we are. Mom, you said your piece. Dad, you said yours. And I said to them, do not fuck around with me. You've tried to hide it, more dad than mom. Mom was actually pretty straight with me, but dad was trying to, and I'm like, do not fuck around with me, because this is as bad as it gets.
Yeah, but what if it was your kid, though? What if it was your kid?
I don't have kids, so I don't know, Bull.
Well, okay. I think the point is,
and I see your point, Bull. I do. I see what you're
saying. Parents are different than I think.
And I understand that. I do. I get it. But I also looked at them and said, do not fuck around with me. I'm an adult. I can handle whatever you got. And I'd rather know than not know. And from that point, they were straight with me. And I have no regrets, none. And that's what I said to my dad when he's like, hey, sit down. And I was like, oh, it's going to be one of those talks. All right. And he laid it out. Here's what's going on. Here's what's the likelihood, blah, 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 blah. I would, as far as being the kid, since you brought up the, the parent-kid relationship, Bull, I would rather know as the kid. I'd rather know. Shit, here we go.
Well, well, I think it depends too. Like if it's a medical issue that, like with your dad, like I'm gonna be going through chemo and trying to fight this shit.
Well, because that's
gonna let y'all know.
I mean, a lot of this really has to do with the ages where this shit happens, right? Because if you're, you're, your parents are, your parent is 80 years old and they're on that slide. You're gonna know about it. You're gonna be doing shit. You're gonna be wrapping up their stuff. But when you're, it's like
when you're 25, 26, and your parents are 40. It's
right.
Different.
Well, that's how my dad was. Because my dad was 53 when he passed away.
When it's like, when I look at this right now, of course, I'm looking at it from my age now, which is, every year I've got people I grew up with, a lot of whom are younger than me already, kicking over. So, you start looking at that and I start thinking, all right, well, if I know something like that's going to happen, what do I do about it with my kids? And it's like, at this point, they're in their late 20s, early 30s. One of them's married, got a kid, got his jobs and all the shit he's trying to get done. My other one is a little bit younger, and he's heavily committed to his work and to the shit he's doing. And what am I going to, one of two things happens. Either I tell them they're sad about it, and then so they have a hard time for 3 months, and then they have a hard time after I actually go, or I don't tell them, or I tell them and they don't give a shit, in which case it doesn't matter anyway.
Right.
Or I don't tell them, and then we have
max out the credit cards.
Maybe we have a good 3 months, and then then they have maybe they have a hard time after I die, in which case I've still spared them a longer grieving period.
Right.
And so I can't looking at this rationally, I can't see anything that would make sense that if I knew that I would tell them.
No, and I agree. It's a hard call. It's a hard call because me as the son would rather know what the fuck.
Yeah.
But
me too.
I can see it as the parent or even as the spouse or whatever, where, like you just said, Nick, God, if I tell them, they're going to get weird. They're going to drag it out. They're going to suffer in their own way. Do I tell them, or do I just act nonchalant and, hey, I just wanted to see you because you're my kids, you're my spouse, whatever, And so
I had go ahead.
Well, I'm going to finish up my part and say there's no clear answer. And that's kind of how it comes to death. There's no clear answer. Do you give it to them both barrels and go, look, here's how the fuck it is? And hey, at least they know. And whether they're indifferent, they're happy, they're sad, whatever it is, or do you not say something until the very end? And then they go, oh my God, why didn't you tell me sooner? Well, I didn't tell you because reasons.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't think there's any right answer.
Well, no, neither do I. And that's kind of why I wanted to bring that up, is because this is sort of my response to a lot of what I see out there amongst popular culture, the gurus, whatever else, because there's always well, this is what you have to do. If you do it all this way, then things are going to work out. Things are just going to be great. And it's
things
like,
don't always work out.
It's not about things. It's not about things working out. It's about, you're going to leave this world with unfinished business.
Always. Always.
The people you leave behind are going to have unfinished business with you. There is no, for the most part, there is not going to be any neat wrap up of anything. It's just that's, think about it. You got a life slowly, declining. You got other lives slowly coming into the world and growing. And, that's the slow process. But, the idea that, and this kind of piggybacks off of the whole, I don't want to die alone, or I do want to die alone, or whatever it ends up being, is that eventually your life just ends. Everything just stops, and everybody else keeps going. Whoever's still here keeps going, and that's all there is to it. The effects of that are going to be varied depending on who you were, and who you had relationships with, and what those relationships were like, and what those individuals you had relationships are like. And there's all those variables in there. But to think you can just figure out and say, okay, this is going to make everything good, it's not about that. In my opinion anyway, and I don't think I'm quite there yet, but like I said, you never know when you get to be, as old as Rob. Is that it's just like, you've got to, it's like with parenting, it's like with all the other shit, you're going to do what you got to do, what makes the most sense for you. Yep. And sitting there and I say this because, I've sat, like Rob was talking about, I've sat down and I've gone through this process of like, yeah, well, rationally, the best case is to would not maybe tell my parents, but not tell my kids. But I wouldn't want to tell my parents really anyway, because what good is that going to do? But especially at our ages, for my parents to tell me, they're in their 70s and 80s, so we all know it's coming, and I'm the executor of their estate and all that kind of shit, so it kind of makes sense. But thinking about my younger kids, it's like, the best thing that I came up with was, spend as much time with them as possible between, that point and the end, because that's still going to give them, the potential for the least amount of grief going forward. And, maybe they think I'm an asshole for not telling them afterwards, but,
yeah, maybe
that's their problem.
You're never gonna get it.
And that
it's not going to be, it's like Bolt said, it's not going to be clean and perfect.
No, you're never going
to what Valerie said. Closing is mostly a fantasy. Closure on both ends is, I say it's akin to happiness. It's a choice.
It's
so you can choose closure. Yeah, pretty much. Like you can choose to have closure or not. Like my dad, when he passed away, I knew for a while. Like we kind of all knew that he was on his way out. There for like the past year or 2 years that, with his problems and stuff. And I accepted it and stuff. And my mom, not so much, but me and my brothers were like, yeah, old man's dying, The shit that was going on with him, there's really wasn't like there wasn't hope that he was gonna pull through it, to say that. So
right.
And the thing is, like, he died when he was like 52 or 53. I was like 24 years old, dude. Like, he never got to see his granddaughter. He never got to meet my wife or anything like that. I never got to go and ask him, like, hey, I'm having this problem and shit. Like, I didn't have it. I was all on my own.
Yeah.
So, and the thing is, it's like, but I don't feel bad about that because I figured it the fuck out, I figured it out. It's just, I mean, my only regret, I think I would have liked him to meet my his daughter, his granddaughter. That's it. But we have pictures and stuff. That's probably the only regret I have as far as that. But you can't really, that's like, you can't really post that as a regret. I mean, but I spent the time I wanted with him and stuff, and we hung out and stuff, and he went. I was just glad he wasn't feeling any pain anymore, man. That was my thing. It's like he didn't have his dignity at the end. That shit pissed me off more than anything.
Sure.
Like at least he went out and he had his dignity then, That's what I cared about.
Well, I mean, if you really think about it, if you really dig down hard, and I'm not saying anybody necessarily should, but it along the lines with what Valerie said down there about closure being a fantasy, most things are fantasies. Meaning is a fantasy. Meaning is the mindfuck roller coaster. It doesn't mean that has to necessarily be a bad thing, but that meaning only exists in our heads. It doesn't exist in the trees and the rocks and everywhere else. And I think we tend to forget that because we get so psyched in on, this is what this is going to mean, and this is how I'm going to feel, and this is the way things are going to go. And anybody that's lived long enough knows that, no matter how great of a job you're doing or think you're doing, it's like Rob says, the bingo, Corporal Murphy always comes around and fucks up the bingo
It's like that.
card.
It's like that saying, whenever a man plans, God laughs.
Right.
Right. And
throw up Danny's second to last comment. No, not that one. The one right above it. That one.
Dying alone in the miserable part, living alone without much family.
No.
Is the hard pill.
No. Danny. No. Okay. I get it. I get your sincerity. I get what you're saying, but you're wrong. Okay. This is the part that when you hear about men, women living lives of quiet desperation, okay, I would rather be alone. No friends, no family, no wife, no kids. than having all of that, and yet I'm estranged and I'm miserable. No, dude. Okay.
I just wouldn't want my family seeing me like that, dude. Fuck that shit. Let me die alone. Kick my ass off in the river somewhere.
And it's not even about that, Bull. Okay. I have no kids. I have no wife. I have none of the family shit. You have kids. Nick has kids. I've come to the conclusion for me, I am good without all of that, because that's choice. Because it is. I could have had kids younger. I could have met certain women, and I chose not to. I could have married differently than I did, and I chose not to. Okay. I would rather die alone, because we all die alone. Like I said, there's no fantasy. Even if you die in a car wreck at the same time, you're still dying alone, because you're not dying together. I would rather, there's the lonely part, Danny, that's a state of mind.
Yeah. That's the mind fuck roller coaster right there.
It is. It's the ultimate
thinking that you have to have your family around you, you know, or not having, because I think in this day and age, you get to pick, you really get to pick your family, who they are.
You
and stuff
do.
like that. And
it's not always blood. Okay.
No.
It's not always your relatives or who you married or who you didn't. Okay. Your
like
family,
I feel closer to Rob as a brother than one or two of my brothers.
there you have
I'm
it.
gonna say which ones.
Dude, I get
And
it.
and if I were on my deathbed, I would probably rather have Rob show up and give me a fucking high five and pour a drink out for me, you know, on my way out.
And that's it. Okay. I am not close to any of my extended family. When I was at my grandmother's funeral here about a year ago, and I saw, you know, this is my mom's side, because my dad's side, they're all dead. When it comes to, you know, the grandmother, grandfather, they're all dead. Okay. But when I saw my cousins, my aunts and uncles, all those people during my grandmother's funeral, and my dad was there, and I was like, when I found out my grandmother died, and my dad said, "Hey, I want to be there." And I'm like, "Why?" You know, I got tapped to be one of the pallbearers because I'm one of the grandchildren. I'll be there out of respect for her, out of respect for the family. I'll be there. He's like, "Hey, I want to be there." I'm like, "Why? This isn't your half of the family. I'm good. You don't need to be there. You're good." And he's like, "No, I'm going to be there for you." And I'm like, "Okay, cool." But I was fine. And it's like I told him when we got in his truck to leave. I said, "You know, Dad, I'm probably never going to see these people again unless it's a funeral. If I'm still here in Utah at the time, I may be in Texas. I may be somewhere else. Texas is more likely because Bull and there's a few other people that I consider way closer to me. That if I'm going to go somewhere where, yep, this is your last stop, dude. You're not going to move until you die. I'd rather be around friends, the people I choose. So realistically, just because they're blood really doesn't mean shit to me. And there's no, I don't know. There's no, "Oh, damn, I wish we were closer." No, man, there's not. They're just people that I used to know. And so realistically, I'll never see any of them again. And I don't feel bad about it. I don't feel sad about it. It just is. Okay. It just is. This is how it is. All right. Well, so after my dad dies, hey, guess what? I'm fucking moving because I'd rather be around people that I care about and that care about me. And even then, when I die alone. But that doesn't mean I'm not going to live. I'm going to do my shit. And Billy Buster brought up something about going out on your own terms. Absolutely. I would go out on my own terms. That if it isn't a car wreck or a motorcycle accident, you know, because I've never met a guy, and I know a lot. I know a lot of guys who have died in motorcycle accidents because that's the risk. Every one of those people knew, hey, there's a good chance you're going to die. Not one of them woke up the day they died and said, yeah, today I'm going to die. Not one. Every one of them thought, yeah, I'll see you in a little while. I'm going to go out for a ride for a while. And I've seen, you know, I've heard it vicariously through others. And I've also witnessed it firsthand. I was there when guys died.
Yep.
Yeah, they weren't thinking they were going to die that day. And that's what happened. They did.
You know what I
Because
think
It's
of-
weird.
you know what
It's weird to have somebody die in your hands, though. Man. It's fucking.
I've had that. I've had
It's
that.
an odd thing. It's a.
I don't know. It seemed totally natural to me.
You know what I
When
think about
you
when I think about
died
dying with
in
your
my
family around you?
What?
Bull Rush was talking about it a few weeks ago. Those, you know, the stupid people in the caravan on 1883 that they all died in the river because they didn't know how to cross the river. That's what I think about. And there's
go card. Yeah, he died in the river.
and there's a reason for that, and it's because
He died flailing and gasping for fucking air, dude.
well, no, it's like I get Danny's question or Danny's comment, and I get where he's coming from. My experience has been, you know, I spent a couple of decades, you know, doing the whole nuclear family thing. So I always had my kids around, wife was around. Holidays were all big family events. We did all the whole 9 yards. I've lived a lot of years now without that. And oh, McTubis, you are a bad one. Yeah.
But the one thing I will say about what
I'm
McCubis says gonna.
I'm not
Okay.
done. But you know, the truth of the matter is that aside from not wanting to die and, like, you know, leave your kids fatherless and, you know, that kind of shit, my only anxiety I ever had over death was leaving unfinished business or not having lived my own life. And that's the real thing for me. It's not even the unfinished business. Yeah, that mattered to me because I didn't want to leave my family in debt or anything like that. I didn't want to leave the kids in financial hardship. So I wanted to do what I could to prevent that. But as far as what mattered most personally, it's like, you know, I spent a lot of years now living on my own terms. And I think that people who are afraid to die alone, what they're really afraid of is dying not having lived the life they wanted to live, because there is no opportunity at that point to do it again.
Yep.
And I think that scares the shit out of people, but they can't articulate it. And even more, they can't articulate it because then they don't want to have to go down that road of saying, all right, now I need to make some changes so that when death comes, you know, maybe at least I can say, well, you know what? I got mine. I got what I wanted. I did something for myself. And I think for me, that's been the key for me. And that's been I think that tends to be the difficult thing for a lot of people, and especially women, but men too, is that you want to have this idea that you've done what you wanted, whatever that was. And I think that's why a lot of people post divorce, they rush into another marriage
Oof.
and they do all this other shit, and they think that's going to make everything better. And what they find out when they start actually having to face it, when it's right there in their face, is that okay, well, I had 2 or 3 marriages, and now, I'm surrounded by, yeah, my kids are here, and then, there's all these other people that were kind of, sort of supposed to be my family, but they don't really give a shit. They're just waiting for me to, die so they can get my golf clubs or whatever. And it ends up being the kind of thing where you're like, and then I think people have real regret over that by panicking and just trying to fill their final decades with, noise, so that, they didn't feel alone. But at the end, that aloneness is there anyway. It reminds me of and I'll shut up now, but it reminds me of it reminds me of the short story "A Good Man Is Hard to Find" by Flannery O'Connor. And when this band of criminals kills this family that was on vacation to Florida from Georgia, and they're talking about the grandma who never shut up and who was just a big bitch, but then as soon as they were pointing a gun in her face, she clammed up and got right polite and everything else. And the final comment was, she'd have been a good woman if somebody had a gun in her face all her life. And that's the real problem. We don't look at that shit in the eye. We try to avoid it, but you can't. And it's important to consider because it can affect how you make your choices.
Which is why I fire breathe.
Real quick, someone had mentioned something in the chat. My biggest concern is to have someone there at the end who will have the balls to pull the fucking plug whenever I won't be able to. And what you were saying earlier, what you were just saying, Nick. So my girlfriend a couple weeks ago, she had to go to outpatient surgery for a procedure. We're inside the pre-op room and stuff like that. And I was just sitting there with her and stuff and talking to her and everything like that, telling her everything's gonna be all right. And they came in there, and the anesthesiologist and stuff, and the nurse was like, all right, it's time. And she looked at me and she said, I love you. Tell my daughter I love her too. And I said, you're going to be fine. You're going to be fine, sweetheart. It was fun from day one with you. I have no regrets with you. And they swept her out. I have no regrets. No regrets. But yeah, that's my thing. I just want someone there that's going to pull the fucking plug on me. Because I don't be a fucking vegetable.
Pull the fucking plug on you.
Rob, will you do that for me? Will you pull the fucking plug, bro?
I will ride my fucking bike from Alabama to Texas just to pull the plug.
Dude,
I know you will, dickhead.
I would so pull that plug.
I will ride from Utah if I'm still here at that point to pull the plug. I will fucking come in, walk in, and you're going to be like, Rob, and I'm like, shh, bull.
Go get the pillow.
I'm here to send you into the next world.
And that's what it would be. And I would
rollerblade across I-20. All across Alabama, Mississippi, Louisiana, Texas, whatever I had to do, I would Forrest Gump it all the way on my own.
Forrest Gump it.
Just to say, hey, buddy.
You're riding my tennis shoes.
Pull the plug now. You ready? You want some drinks first?
What was that line from Game of Thrones? What do we say to death? We laugh at the face of death. Not today. Because when it's time, dude, bull, I will come and pull the fucking plug. I'll be like, shh.
That's all I want, man. That's all I want a do dirt motherfucker just to come in and be like, yeah, you're done.
I think you should take comfort. I think you should take comfort because I think there are scores of people in this country that would love to come and pull the plug on you, buddy.
But
I
would
have a shortage.
Slowly and lovingly.
But I want someone I know to do it.
Oh yeah. He'd be like, "Thank you, bro." Thank you.
I'm gonna unplug it, and then I'm just gonna plug in my amp and play you out.
You're gonna play "Don't Bite the Dick."
I don't. I'll play.
Play that shit.
I'll play Don't Bite the. I'll play Wheeler Walker. I'll play Metallica. I'll play whatever you want. You know,
Play Charlie Daniels. Fucking devil went down to Georgia.
Daniels. Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
I'll play any of that shit.
Hey, speaking of "Don't Bite the Dick,"
Don't bite the dick that fucks you, honey. You got to learn to suck it funny. How those dicks all taste like rubber, covered with goo. Some comes clear and some comes milky. Some comes thick and some comes silky. Don't bite the dick that fucks you, honey. It'll be good to you.
Anybody else see a tunnel with a white light at the end?